So I'm here at the job site. This is my brother's job. He's a builder as well. He's building this really cool Tuscan style here in La Jolla that matches the existing structure. What I like about this is we do a lot of modern builds, but we don't do a lot of Tuscan style. And I want to show you some details that my brother did over here that I think is really cool.
Typically, these are an actual attic vent design, but the architect wanted us to match what was on the existing house. This is a historical house. This was built in the 1930s. I didn't know if I could buy those, so I made them. The other thing you may notice when you're looking up there is we intentionally mixed in any tiles that we demoed because we really like the way the existing house has that algae and that old.
So the algae is part of the decor of this house.
Yeah, a false roof. So the structural roof is above it. It's 2x8 structure. And again, everything we did here was matching details that we encountered in the house. Above this, there's a gap of about 1.5 inches, and then the actual structure of the roof above is 2x8 conventionally framed. And in that space, we have all of our R30 insulation. That is high density.
So you did that in here too? These are all false beams
Yes.
with space above that has a R30, and then you've got your sheeting,
Yes.
and then a tile above that.
Yes. So this is actually a glue lamp that we wrapped. And I used Murphy's sandblast, which is the number I would give you if you need a sandblaster. I really like these ram jams because they easily come on and off.
You can see the detail here.
We intentionally recessed it. A lot of these systems have a really high track for weather, but because we're over 8 feet under the underhang, under the roof, it really isn't necessary to have this 2-inch lip on the back. So we brought our concrete up so that our floor system is going to sample of what the floor. And this is a 5/8 floor. We're gonna use a 1/2-inch floor, and with a little grinding, we can just get that perfect. We always want a small joint, some elastomeric sealant or caulking or something.
Yeah.
Because these two materials are gonna move separate. And out here, we're gonna do tile. We're gonna end up burying the weep holes, which means this condition is if the moisture gets in here, it has to evaporate. But underneath an 8-foot overhang, I'm not too concerned about it. And where you're standing, everything is gonna be pitched 2% to the outside. Doors open up real nice. We got these with vertical grain dug for unfinished because we wanted all of our windows and doors to match. We have to stain and finish them, which is an interesting process. When you receive these doors, if you read the notes and the window, you're supposed to finish them within like the first week. Because they're liable to start moving and warping and having issues.
Are those Marvin Integrity or?
I think they're a little
Marvin.
They're Marvin Ultimates. Beautiful casement windows. These are in pine, but that's the closest species we could get to La Cantina. And we have the La Cantina powder coated or painted to match the Marvin. So we gave the Bahama brown color. And what we were doing there is we wanted to match what was on the existing house. Which is painted wood, but they're already having, a plethora of maintenance issues with their wood. So on this project, we said, well, let's clad.
The cladding is so much better.
So they actually want you to finish behind the trim piece. So where all these staples are, we finish the whole thing and then we put the trim on, and I'll use a 23 gauge pin nailer for that. You wonder sometimes when you get stuff like this, is it because Marvin is skipping a step in the process and just leaving more for the installer, or did they intentionally want me to finish behind there? I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that it was that they intentionally wanted that.
This is a pretty cool feature here, this bar feature. Can this open up separate from these doors, or are they connected?
No, there's no interlock there, so you could close this system. And just have that open. This door would probably be swinging because you need that to latch.
I see.
But you could do something like this. And La Cantina comes with the magnetic door stop.
Yeah.
I haven't installed because I just don't want it to get beat up right now. Then I just installed a couple chrome alloy supports for the outside bar.
This quartzite, and then this support
Same exact material.
will then support the quartzite, which will go right up to there.
Right to the top. I mean, it's either right to the top of the jam or just a little bit proud so that you can actually slide a glass or something over across. What you don't want is for
That's
this
really
to
cool.
be over the stone.
Yeah, it's gonna be really nice when it's done.
Oh, yeah.
I've used the metal ones, but this one, it looks like you can
This one is 402 by 6 wall, which I like, so you don't have to oval the vent. According to the flooring guy, and this is left over from their house, this is the best floor you can possibly install. But look at the wear layer on that.
3/16 of an inch wear layer. And normally you just get like, what, 1/8 of an inch?
Yes. And then this is going to be installed glue down, raw, unfinished, which means we get to sand it all smooth, apply finish coat to the entire thing, and it means all the gaps, all the grooves are getting finished, versus a pre-finished floor, all those gaps and grooves are, potentially unprotected.
Yeah.
So this is where I was thinking the adorn switches might work nicely. We use the metal box for a couple reasons. It's wider, gives us more room to junction, and you can come in from the bottom with the wires.
Yeah.
Versus a common box, you'd be on the back side. And we have no casing on the doors or windows. Your bullnose goes directly into the door jamb. So there's no wood casing that trims it out. You have a kerf cut into the door jamb, and then you have a piece of metal that looks like this. It's basically half of what a typical corner metal would look like.
Yeah.
And it has that little piece that goes into the kerf.
Yeah.
So this is a very special one. This is an 1.5 inch radius. Because our Marvin windows and the 2x6 wall with shear and everything are recessed further, all the Marvin windows have a larger radius on them.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of cool. You don't see this every day. Most bullnose is all the same radius. These get a much larger radius.
I like that larger radius. It does. It kind of goes with that Tuscan look a little more.
Yep.
These doors are being stained right now.
Yes. So these are Naughty Alder doors, custom built by Rogue Valley Door for TM Cobb in Oregon. And again, we are matching exactly what they had in the house. They're getting a nice espresso stain from Sherwin-Williams. It's important, so these doors, we do all the prep, we do all the sanding, we routed the hinges, we have everything except the door hardware installed at this point. And then we're going to stain and finish them 100% top, bottom, 360 degrees, again, to avoid warping, anything like that.
None of these are pre-hung.
No. And I didn't have the luxury of pre-hanging them because I needed all my jams built and installed before drywall. And because of the lead times that we're experiencing on some of these things, in order to keep the job moving, I build my own jams, I curve them, I install them, cross-sided, fun, as quick as possible, so that we could move forward, and then came in and started hanging the doors. We have limestone, 3x6 tile tumble. It's a downless shower, so it just rolls right in. You'll notice we are holding off on a whole course of tile here. That's because we want the Caesar stone countertop installed first, and then we can finish tile to the stone. That gives a nice clean condition. Our tile guys set a few pieces that gives us a guide, so we know our stone just comes right up to the bottom of that. We get a little grout point, nice and clean, and we're done. We got the tile, we put it on the floor, we put the spacers in, we figured out our height. This countertop is also going to come and waterfall down the edge. So same thing here, we're holding off this course until that waterfall. So in the shower, we're doing Newport brass finishes. So this is a thermostatic control, volume control, so you don't have to get wet. You can stand here, you can turn on your shower. Your shower head is over here. It's going to be a J-arm with a rain head, 18-inch coming out. And then this is your diverter. So this switches from rain head to shower bar. So we'll install the bar over here. Everything we have blocking behind the wall for everything. So we're into the same thing with the glass, it's all into solid wood. So the hose will just drop down from there, curl right back up. Identical bedrooms, and this wall here is the garage wall. So we were able to conceal all of our ductwork for the unit. We can go in there and see the unit later, but this is a chase above the...
Is that garage original to the house?
Yes.
So you actually, this is an attached ADU.
This is an attached ADU tied into an existing wall. And above us here is a flat roof. So for the flat roof, we use TPO. We actually used a tan TPO, because everything out here, like white, would have just been kind of shocking.
Yeah.
And on that roof, we are installing 44 Aptos DNA solar panels. It's going to be the largest system I've ever installed. So this is pretty much an identical bathroom. Same setup, the floating glass panel.
Yeah.
Same exact Newport brass setup. We did something here with a niche where we wanted to conceal it. We didn't want it to be one of the first things you saw when you walked in.
Yeah.
So we ran the wall straight into the back and just have a
What
little
a
niche.
cool detail that is.
We'll put a little shelf,
You know, you always see them just like right there.
right here or right here. These were options we discussed.
You don't know how far back that goes, but there it is.
Yeah.
That's really
we
cool.
wanted it concealed, yeah. If you look at the way the floor tile pattern ends up on the drain, that's really what we wanted to achieve, you know. Center of a pattern, and that kind of drove the train on where this ended up. And we're fortunate we have a full piece at the door.
Yeah.
Center of the shower, center of the pattern for the drain, everything rolls into here. We sat here with the plumber and the tile guy and we worked together to make this happen. These are custom built chandeliers by Lights of Tuscany. They're going in the living room and then these are the two wall sconces that go on the outside. These are the custom built sconces for the bathrooms.
Tuscan.
Is custom built by a lady in Utah who, you know, prints and glazes them and fires them at an incredible temperature. So these things are actually pretty bulletproof. And then that gets screwed in there, and then the tape light goes in there, and then it gets that lens, and so you get a much gentler, you know, you're not seeing all the little dots.
You built this detail down here. You routed that for
Our
this to
cabinet guys
slide
set
right
it
in
up.
there.
We gave him we slide it in there.
That's going to be a really nice detail. You'll never see that.
I mean, it's a much cleaner than like doing just a regular tape back here. And the nice thing is when you have a lens like this, it diffuses the light. So you know how you have individual spots on the tape that are lit up?
Yep.
This helps diffuse it so it's not so.
Yeah.
That bumps the jam and that keeps your gap
Oh,
there.
that's
And
your
when
gap.
when you put that on the door, you ignore the button and you line it up with the top of the template. These are standard arches. This is an elliptical arch. A bit more to that mathematically. It's on 2 points and a string, and it's tied, and it does this one roof, and the torch-down roof was pretty much shot. Our sub panel for the main house, and we tied in a 200 amp breaker for the main house here as well.
I like that they used actual labels versus just hand scribing.
We added this little soffit all the way across. 21 SEER heat pump. There's ventilation requirements on them, so they want this fan facing out.
And that will fully run off of the solar, which is totally worth it to have an electric when you're running off of the solar. We just did a tankless and it took 3 40 amp circuits.
So this A.O. Smith, we purchased with the solar system through the solar company. And that way the tax credit that you get on solar applies also to efficient appliances that you're purchasing through them. You can see the 2 Tesla batteries. Because of the size of the system, we have 2 inverters.
How much storage can each of these store?
Powerwall, 2.15 kilowatt.
I wonder how many amp hours that translates to. That's something I have to pull up the calculator for.
So when we went round and round and bidding different contractors to install battery systems, there really was 2 front runners, Tesla and Enphase. Enphase makes it a good system. It seems like depending on which installer you talk to, they'll both say either system is better. If based on internet reviews, most of them come out that Tesla's the leader still in battery technology. You know Adam Hamill?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is his company and he is a certified Tesla installer.
Do they do Tesla roofs?
In fact, they're doing one now. If you talk to Mike Shannon, he has some interesting thoughts on that. One of the first things the contractor did, and I'm sure you're familiar with this, the contractor installed peel and stick on their roof. Well, the peel and stick that they installed wasn't compatible with the Tesla peel and stick.
Oh,
so they
really?
had to pull it off. You can't pull it off.
Oh my gosh.
They had to sheet on top of the roof, a whole nother layer of sheeting, because in order just to get rid of the peel and stick. Either that, or when they were pulling it up, it was delaminating the plywood.
Well, I've never done a Tesla roof yet, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
So don't just use any. If you're going to do a Tesla roof, don't use any peel and stick.
If you need temporary waterproofing, just use some synthetic.
T-synthetics?
I mean, just whatever synthetic.
But not peel and stick.
And then you'll get your temp paper. You'll probably pull that off and then do.
Or use that. What about the zip system with the tape?
You would have to first find out from Tesla if that's compatible. Because the way I understand it, and I've never done it, but Tesla's system is some kind of peel and stick underlayment, which is your waterproofing. with the panels on top.
Yeah. You think that that could go over the zip wall or the zip sheathing?
As long as they're compatible. When you
Yeah.
get this thing where like one will melt the other one, simply, you know, one company isn't going to warranty their product because it's too close to another product.
Yeah.
Then you're stuck with having to pull off the other one. So what this gateway does is, you know, the power comes in, then it figures out, you know, it sends the power back to the panel. And then if every day in peak usage hours, it draws from these batteries. So you're using these batteries on a daily basis to offset your electrical.
The actual battery, but you're also using direct power from the panel, right? So so it uses some of the battery.
Yes.
So that it kind of keeps it cycling through. Does that help?
Cycling, and it, you know, it doesn't drain them all the way. It's
Yeah.
to get to a certain spot. But what that does is it offsets your usage during peak hours every day.
Oh,
so
I
not
see.
only are you spinning the meter backwards,
Yeah.
when the sun is shining bright,
Yeah.
but then, you know, from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. or whatever peak hours are, you're drawing on these two batteries every day, which helps to cycle the battery, but definitely helps to keep your power bill down. Initial, you know, me, you know, wanting everything to be really clean, I was like, let's put this all on the wall. But the problem with that is it doesn't make it so it can be modified or added onto in the future.
Yeah.
Easily. This makes it easily accessible. So I ended my soffit there because you can't really drop conduit out of drywall.
Did you put those in?
Yeah, they did these steps.
So this is all new.
Yeah.
They kind of blend in with the travertine.
Yeah.
But then they just have a little downward feature.
Mm-hmm. Those are from Site 1. Those are actually Site 1's lights.
Oh, so you did all this out here.
Yeah. Those are pavers. Those are 1-inch thick pavers.
That's original.
Installed over polymeric sand, but the problem with this is this right here. You get weeds growing.
Yeah, and that's just constant maintenance.
Yes. But we actually found a travertine product that did not have all the fill. Like normally all these voids would be filled.
Yeah.
And we installed it this way because we wanted the natural look to look closer like that. Yes.
No honing, no filling. It purposely has all the original gaps that travertine would have.
And then we used the 2-inch bullnose for all the steps. So what's interesting is when they're pouring the form steps down 2 inches and then goes and then steps again.
That's a lot of detail work. Each one has its own individual wires.
It is direct burial, but what happens if one of these goes out?
Yeah, I had that exact problem.
2-inch
Travertine
bullnose, so all the
Crazy.
edges. And then these didn't come double bullnosed. So we took these to AGM, I think it's AMG or AGM in Escondido.
Yeah.
And they did all the double bullnose for us. And then here I think we're gonna.
So the entire style of that ADU is built off of this 1930s
1937.
historical house. So that's pretty challenging to build an ADU that matches a 1930s historical building.
Yes and no. And the nice thing is you just look here and you say, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. Hey, match that.